Hello, welcome to this episode of Let's Share series by I Love Children, a volunteer welfare organization who strives to be Singapore's one-stop portal for fertility and parenthood. Today we have with us financial expert Paul C. He is the founder of Priority Wealth Private Limited, and he has 23 years of experience in the financial industry, and he's also a daddy of two. Paul, could you share with us how old are your boys?
Oh, this year they are 6 years old and 8 years old, right? K2 and P2. So two boys, high energy, so they have to keep up.
That's good. And we also have Yvonne, our very own I Love Children blogger. She's a mommy of one and she's also planning for baby number two. So Yvonne, can you share with us how old is your first child?
My first child is a boy, Raphael. He is 20 months actually, 20 months.
We'll be talking about how couples can afford to have another baby. So Yvonne, this will be perfect for you since you're planning for baby number two. And out of curiosity, Yvonne, how on a monthly average, how much do you spend on Raphael?
Okay, so after some calculations, it's about $200 a month,
About
including, I'm including diapers, milk, which is quite like zero because I'm breastfeeding and I do cloth diapers. With food, miscellaneous, and insurance included, it will be about $200 a month.
So that works out to be less than $8 a day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, very good and healthy low average actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's very high.
Okay, Yvonne, what are your financial concerns when you're planning for baby number two?
Honestly, I think it's more relaxed now, more so than like when I was having the first baby, because after I went through all my subsidized route with the hospital and just thinking of the scary future, now it's more like I know I have hand-me-downs. Hand-me-downs are it's a very good thing, you know. Then I have reusable diapers and I think the government's help really ease my burdens of like financial difficulties. Yeah, but I think the only thing that I'm worried for is still the same thing actually, being able to earn enough money because I'm a freelancer, then earn enough money for the baby, like for everybody, from my husband, for Raphael and the new baby. Yeah, that's the only thing I always think about.
Okay, Paul, actually, how much money should we set aside for savings after deducting all necessary expenses?
That's a very typical question. It's like after we spend, how much we set aside. But actually, that question itself is fundamentally wrong. Okay, why is it wrong? Is because you need to set aside saving first and then enjoy spending the rest of it, right? So setting aside first and then spend the rest is much more. It will have better impact over long term compared to spend first and then set aside the remainder. All right. So these two have got a different outcome. Right now, I would actually use this ruler to teach people how to budget and set aside their money. All right. So basically, all of us just need to have a ruler like this. Our income that comes into our income pocket, we'll split it up into different percentages. All right. So the safety net here is 20%. Right, so it comprises of financial freedom, that's for your long-term retirement, and the second component, 10%, is for your next purpose in life. Right, we will have more goals and targets that we want to achieve, and this is where you accumulate for that purpose. Now, our necessity, we should shrink it down to at 55%. So with 55% of your income, right, this is where you would spend on the necessities, the diapers, right, your food, lodging, transportation, stuff like that. Okay. Now within this necessity, there's a 10% that you can use for your insurance, risk management, medical needs. Then debts for housing loans, car loans, or even some will be finishing up their study loans. It would be up to 35% of income. Now the remainder, this part is what we call edu fund net. So it's quite easy to understand that because it's for education, right? Be it for yourself, your family, or in fact your children or future of your staycation, and 10% for fun. So 10% you could spend it guilt-free, all right? Be it a holiday, now it's COVID, so no holidays, all right? So staycation or any other luxuries that you like to enjoy or indulge in, right? The other component is 5%, this is for charity, but charity doesn't necessarily mean donation. Charity here actually allows you to build relationships. Sometimes you like to sponsor your friend some areas of necessity. You like to buy coffee, Christmas, birthdays, gifts like that. This is where that budget is from. Right? So this is how everybody should set aside their money for living within your means. This is what it means.
Is there a right time to plan for baby? Like based on my experience when I was much younger, I used to have this ideal age of getting married at 28, have the first baby at 29, and then the second baby at 30. Okay, but all that changed when I met the man that I wanted to annoy for the rest of my life. So we got married at 24, had our first baby in the first year, and then our second baby at 30. So I think it all worked out very well because by the time my last baby is 21, I will be only 51. So
Nice.
yeah. So I don't know, Paul and Ivan, maybe like, do you make your own parenthood life goals then, and how did it go? You can start with Paul.
Well, I always say this, life has predictability, right? Like you plan for having a child, right? So I also plan to get married early. I miss my deadline, so you achieve, overachieve your deadline, so, right? So again, life has its predictability, right? So it's good to plan towards that, right? And it's never going to go according to your specific timing, despite that you have planned for it, right? So I had my first child when I was 38, right? So can you imagine when my child is in his teens, right? In his 18, 20 years old, how old would I be? I'll be an old man chasing after a teenager. So that's gotta be tough. So my advice really is like what most parents say: get married early, have a child early, and you get to enjoy that part of your growing up years with your child with a lot of energy. So the advice is get married early, right? And there are incentives to incentivize you to do that this year, all right? So later we'll talk about that as well.
I wouldn't say I had a goal to be a parent because I'm quite spontaneous. If it comes, that kind of thing. But we did have a specific age. Like me and my husband, we say around 30 years old, we should maybe think about having a baby. We got married at 28. So actually the one who really, really wanted a kid was my husband. He kept nudging me on the wedding day itself. Then when we reached 30, then I seriously considered having a child.
Couples do have children slightly later. What would you say for the savings plan or retirement plan? What should they prepare for?
So if let's say people do get married later, and this is getting very common, right? Living in the city, marriage are later, having babies are later, and also at the same time planning for retirement becomes later as well, right? So again, I would reflect back to the ruler. The ruler says that you should set aside those as early as possible because these are life predictability where you need to retire, you need to set up your family, all right? So you should set those budgets in the early stage. But in case you don't, it's still not too late to know how to do it now. So same thing, you follow the ruler, right, whereby you set aside these components for retirement. All you need is to invest your 10% of your income for retirement, right? And make sure those income create this thing called passive income. So those set of money will be an asset that creates more money for you. Now, as you continue to build this asset class, it will give you more passive income. So by the time you reach your retirement age, you should have this investment, ready to feed you, continue to give you income, right? Or even your spouse or children in the future. So this is very important to set up now and not wait till you're near your retirement and then decide later. Young parents, your main concern is your first 5 years will be a major financial struggle, right? Having a kid, suddenly, food consumption go up, milk powders, diapers, right? You got lots of things you want to buy, especially in today's internet age, right? They will come popping at you, get
Online
this,
shopping.
get that, right? Your phones are listening to your conversations, So what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a lot of want to spend on stuff, right? Now you have your fund money that account to do so, but you also want to set aside for its different purpose. So education costs will be highest in the first 5 years. Food consumption, this will be a two highest component in your first 5 years of having a child. All right. So those are areas that you want to look out for, and you know that you could last these 5 years, you could last the next 20 years. Okay.
I think Ivan also has a very good example. So
Mhm.
two of us, I think we managed to get both our kids are in playgroup right now,
Yes.
and we are paying the same amount for our childcare. So how much are you paying, Ivan?
Yeah.
Per month.
I'm paying $30.40 a month.
You guys heard that? So she's paying only at what, $30
$30.
a month for playgroup. Wow, that's we got to dig further. How do you do that?
You just, for full-time mother, we have about, I think it's a $400 subsidy,
300.
$300 subsidy. And then additional subsidy if your income falls below a certain amount. I think the government subsidizes a lot for us Singaporeans.
That is true. So working mothers subsidies, that's one area that you actually can reduce your cost for childcare, right? Playgroup, childcare, kindergarten. So that's a huge subsidy actually. So we really love our government because we can send our kids to school, and this is a heavy cost. Mind you, in Singapore, your first 5 years sending kids to school, it's actually going to cost more than university. Now get that right. It costs more than local university. Okay, so that's something that we all don't know about because we always hear about planning for university. Now you have to get 20 years runway, but for having a child where you're new parents, you have no idea what's it like, and the costs come at you really, really fast. So such subsidies are really, really helpful, right? So you too, right? Also, yes.
So my situation is slightly different from
Yes.
Ivan. So Ivan is living with her husband and her son right now. But for me, I'm living with my parents and my grandma. So total there are 6 of us in the household and 3 dependents. So with that, with a full-time working mom subsidy, my child's childcare is $720 every month.
Mhm.
So with working mom subsidy, we minus $300 from there. So there's another $420. So with that, they managed to do some additional subsidies, and now I'm also paying $30 a month.
You hear that? So some of the very, very good way to enjoy such subsidy is to stay with your parents who are not working, because that brings down your average household income. So that's one of the components that actually brings down that per household incomes range down. All right. So again, that's a good thing. It fosters three generations living together, and it does foster a very strong family bond. So besides the financial savings, it also has got a good outcome for fostering a family bond.
Let's say a couple has to survive on a single income of $3,600 a month.
Okay.
How are they able to raise 2 kids and still make sure that their needs are met and the children have equal of everything? Let's say like maybe the parents want to send them for extra activities like piano or swimming classes. So how do you make sure that both child has equal and their basic necessities are met?
Wow. Okay. So very challenging. So it's a family earning $3,600, all right, and that's their total household income. Okay. Now, how to do it? Again, we can use the ruler, right? The financial ruler. So first off, 55% of the income will be spent on necessity, right? So 3,600 times 55%. How much is that? Ta-da! It's there. All right. So you roughly have about $1,008, right, for necessity. So try to keep it within there for its necessity. Now the rest are like questions: how do you make it equal for each child? Now what is likely to happen in this family is that if my firstborn is out I would buy insurance for my firstborn and then realize I've got the second one, do I have additional budget for it? Now, if those insurance are for education funding, endowments, and stuff like that, now the easier thing that a parent could do is to reclass this asset. What I mean by reclassing this asset is that this asset, this budget that you set aside, would be used for both their education planning in the future. So it doesn't matter if you bought for the first one or not enough for the second one, but you know that this savings, this total savings, is for equal use, right? So that's one way that you don't feel shortchanged, because just like you, I'm also concerned when my younger son will just turn up, Daddy, why Koko has this and I don't have. So that's a real concern. But the moment you know that you reclass it for its purpose and it's your current circumstances, earning 3,600 per month, right? So that's the best you could do as a parent. Follow the ruler, use that guide and budget to set aside for all the purpose that you need in life. Planning for retirement with a tight budget, right? Planning for your next purpose. Don't you have a next purpose? Even earning at 3,500, you would, right? So for your next purpose in your life, and again, other areas like education, and also not to forget to have fun. Working so hard, keeping that family together, you still need a little bit of fun money to go around as well. So that's what I would advise you to do. Follow the ruler. It should solve any situation, any income level, any budget. All right?
Yvonne, what are your financial concerns when you're planning for baby number 2?
Okay, I think what really scares me is knowing that I'm not earning a lot. I would love to send my kids to enrichment courses, like just small things that they can have fun, swimming classes, or I think phonics, music, there's gym classes, but all these are so expensive. They can amount up to $500, $800 for just a kid that's like 3-year-old, Yeah. So I think that's a lot of money now for someone who's not earning a lot, but I want to send them there. So yeah, I guess that's one of my concerns. I would love for them to join this kind of class.
Yeah. So one of the areas that how we look through families in terms of how to adjust that. Now, one of the main problems is that you love to have that happen, right? So it's a lifestyle decision and choice. Now, if that could be part of the budget, it's fine. But you know that sometimes the stretch is beyond that budget, right? But you have this area called the education fund. Now, if those additional exposure is within those budget, by all means send them in that sense, right? But there are also a lot of other ways that I'm sure by now many of us would do, compare. Give the exposure, send them to those at the community center. A lot of times it's a lot more affordable. Or look for other freelancers, or make a lot of friends in those areas that they have exposure to. So there's many ways to bring down those average costs, right? So our real problem is that we always compare around with other parents and other kids, right? So my experience is like this. For our first child, same thing as new parents, we love send my boys for piano lessons, swimming, phonics, and all that. So that's for the first child. Whereas the second one, we also wanted, we love to, but the problem is not that it's our budget. Every child is different. My second one has got no interest to learn in that format. He picks things up faster from his elder brother. So even right now at K2, he's doing primary cruise work and he's enjoying it. Right? So again, it's about exposure, right? Find alternative, right? Things like going to CC, find cheaper alternative, and there are plenty of activity to keep them, busy. And I think like any child, to them, it's like they would be happy 4 hours at a swimming pool on their own with you, right? So you don't need a lot of lesson plans to expose them. But if you really want to work within your budget, and also look for a cheaper alternative for exposure.
I can share my experience as well. Like for my oldest daughter, when she wanted to join piano, she wanted to learn piano. She has this interest in piano, as I thought she had. And then I found a friend who is a piano teacher. So she was a personal friend. So she managed to charge me $50 a month for 1.5 hour sessions once a week.
Wow.
You can never get that
Yes,
Wow.
you can.
anywhere
It's usually $50 per class.
per class. So
Yes.
I got it back. So buy one class, get 3 classes
Yeah,
free.
yeah.
So in a good way, it is lucky that I got a friend to help me, because by the third lesson, she went to the teacher. My hands are tired. Can you pay them for me? Okay, so it was a want, but right now I see the need of her needing Chinese tuition because she struggles with Chinese. I struggle with Chinese as well. So I found like those under the blocks tuition centers, and the fee is so affordable. It's only $65 for 1 month
Wow. Okay.
for an hour and a half lessons.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it is weighing the needs and the wants. I know that she needs it, she will go for it, and I will find the affordable source.
So always compare. I think that's one of the good way. Ask around for good feedback. So there are a lot of good quality tutors under HDB blocks. All right. So don't discount them. Don't necessarily have to go for big brand names out there. All right. So that's one bit of advice. But keep within your budget and work along those lines. You should do fine.
We're going to go into what the government gives us for having babies in Singapore. So we're going to go into baby bonus cash gift. Ivan, how much do you receive for your first baby?
Okay, I don't know the different dates, but in total it was $8,000.
$8,000. And
Wow.
when did you give birth to your baby?
July 2019.
And Paul, how much do you receive for baby bonus
Ah,
cash gift?
back
And when
then.
did you? when
Then,
did you?
my first child, that was in 2013. Back then, the cash gift was $6,000 that the government gave without attending the baby shower.
Yeah, so it is like our grandfather giving us big ang pao. So okay, this $8,000 for now, today's for now, $8,000. You take away the $2,000 first. So $6,000 is given out in 3 tranches. So 50% of $6,000 is given out at birth when you register for the birth of your baby. 25%, that means $1,500 at 6 months old, another $1,500 at 1 year old, $1,000 at 15 months old, and another $1,000 at 18 months old. So this will help you when you are sending your child to playgroup. So usually you send your child to playgroup at about 19 months, so that $1,000 actually will help you to settle some of the fees that comes with the enrollment. So that's $2,000 more than him. And if you give birth before the end of September 2022, you get an additional $3,000 cash gift, which is called the baby support grant.
So if you count backwards, actually the good time to complete your live firing will be before 31st December to this year. Is that right?
31st December.
This year. Because before September you must give birth. Right? So, guys, start working from home at the end of this year. Stay home, work hard. Okay?
Stay home. Wink.
And what about the CDA account? Maybe Paul, would you like to share a little bit more about the CDA? What is
Alright,
this
so
about?
for your CDA account, the government enhancement has included for your second child an additional $3,000 to be credited into your CDA account. So that's total of $6,000 dollar for dollar matching. So in our investment terms, that's 100% return. The moment you put $6,000 in the account, you'll be matched with another $6,000. That's a lot of money actually.
And without saving money as well, the moment you open a CDA account for your child, the government immediately puts in $3,000 already.
So that's quite a lot of support. In fact, as we were doing calculations in terms like how much it will cost for a child, the next 21 years for education, it comes out to be a whopping amount, right? On the average, it's about 150,000, right, from start to 21 years old in university. Okay, so that sounds like a huge amount of money, but look at the kind of subsidy there are, right? As high as $600 per month for childcare, playgroups, kindergarten. That's quite a huge component, right? And then you have your CDA account with dollar for dollar matching. So that's also a huge amount that can be subsidized. Okay.
If you are seeking any fertility treatments, do look out for subsidies and co-funding from the government through madeforfamilies.gov.sg. While you're working hard making that baby, sign up for the Parenthood Pledge in the link over here, and you could receive products from Clear Blue, Akin, and Every Moments worth $208. Okay, thank you, Paul, for sharing your tips and advice, and also Ivan for sharing your experience. We have a giveaway happening now, and if you want to receive this financial ruler from Paul C, and also this book is written by Paul C, ask your financial questions in the comment section below, and if we feature your financial questions on Paul's social media page called Financial Ruler, you will receive this autographed version from Paul.